Okay, we're here to work our last example of solving equations on a graphing calculator. So we're going to do t to the 3/4 plus 4 equals t. And we're going to start how we always do by opening up our y equals and clearing everything out. And then our left hand side is going to go in y1 and our right hand side is going to go in y2. Now, it's very important that you use this variable button for your variable. So even though we have t, we're just going to substitute t with x. So my y1 is going to be x to the power 3/4. Now, when you have a fraction up in the exponent, you must use parentheses. So x to the power 3/4 in the graphing calculator is going to look just like that. And then we also have plus 4. And then my y2 is just equal to t, or in this case x. So judging by y1 and y2, I'm going to have some sort of exponent function, some sort of power function, and then I'm just going to have a line at a y equals x. So let's go ahead and graph this and find our intersections. So I'm going to hit graph, and it looks like it's graphing my exponential function, and it looks like down in the corner we have my line. Now my window is still zoomed in from my previous video when we solved this middle equation here. I showed you how to use zoom box, and you can see that my window is still zoomed in from that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit zoom, and I'm going to go down to number 6, Z standard, and that's going to give us our typical kind of 10 by 10 grid that we're used to seeing, and it's going to regraph for us. Okay, so now it looks like we can kind of see a little bit of a intersection here. Looks like this equation is only going to have one solution, because this is just going to kind of continue on like this, and then this is just our line. But I still don't really see this intersection perfectly. So I think it would be wise to zoom in on this corner a little bit more. So I'm going to show you guys how to manually change the window, and I'm also going to cut out these 3 quadrants here, because there's not really any information in the second, third, and fourth quadrants that is useful, because there's no intersections going on in these 3 quadrants right here. So to do that, I'm not going to click zoom, I'm going to click window, and I'm going to open up my window menu, and you can see that in window there's X min, X max, Y min, and Y max. So these are what we're going to pay attention to now: X min, X max, Y min, and Y max. We might talk about X scale and the resolution later, but X min is pretty much the minimum value for X that is shown. X max is the maximum value for X that is shown. So you can see that we have -10 to +10 in the X and Y direction, and sure enough, on the graph we go from -10 to 0 and then to +10. So if we want to only get this positive quadrant and maybe go a little bit further than just 10 units out, I can just hit my window and I could say, okay, well, the minimum X that I want to see is not -10. The minimum X that I want to see is 0, so I'll just type 0 there. I go to X max, and maybe I want to see a little bit more of my positive X direction, so I'll go to 15. Now Y min, there's the minimum Y that I want to see. Well, I'm not really cared about my other, well, I don't really care about my other quadrants, so I'm just going to make my Y min 0 also, and I'm going to make my Y max 15. So now we should just be seeing our first quadrant. So I'll hit graph, and now you can see that the three quadrants that should be kind of around here have been cut off, and now we have a really good picture of our line and our solution right here. So the last step is to go second and calc and go down to intersection, and then first curve we want to move our cursor over to where the lines cross and hit enter. Second curve, you can see my cursor is on my line now. Oh, my calculator just popped out of view. So for the second curve, you can see that my cursor is just on this line here, so I'm gonna move it over to the intersection and hit enter. My guess, I'll just leave it in that general area and hit enter, and then it comes back with my intersection, and my x value is 9.344. So 9.344 is going to be my solution for t. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Stay tuned for some more videos. I might make some videos on how to solve trigonometry functions and other things like that.